Hi and welcome to the free training, How to Save Money in Family Court and Become an Informed, Self-Represented Custody Litigant. I am Larry DeMarco. I'm the founder of the Law Center YouTube channel, and I produce my channel so that other people can learn from what I learned going through custody court. This training is how for you to maximize the free ebook that I provided, which you can find under the store, or it was already sent to you because you became a subscriber, and that's the first email that you receive, how to download that book. So to maximize this free training and get the most out of this video, I will refer to the ebook, have a pen and paper, or hit pause, pull up my email and make notes, and then if you have any questions, shoot me an email and I will make every effort to get back to you in my earliest convenience. I want to invite you to a Facebook group that I administer. It is the Child Custody Support by the Law Center. That's me, my YouTube channel. Feel free to join. Make sure you answer the questions, and I hope you find that group mutually supportive. You can ask questions, and you can give your opinion and support for other people going through a high conflict custody case. A disclaimer: this is not legal advice. We are not entering an attorney-client relationship with my law firm, DeMarco DeMarco PC. The Law Center, my YouTube channel, which is really just a YouTube channel, it's not a law firm. DeMarco DeMarco is my law firm, and I, again, am Larry DeMarco. This will be information, not legal advice. Consider it like a classroom where I'm discussing law and family court generally, but don't act on what you hear without first seeking qualified professional legal advice, because every case is different. The training is designed to help you dramatically reduce the costs of your legal fees, because when you work with a lawyer, you'll know more and be able to keep costs down, but it's better to get a lawyer to represent you whenever possible. The family court system is broken. There's a lot of things that we can discuss, but we're going to focus on the high cost of legal fees. I found the reason why I need to produce this stuff is because lawyers are unaffordable for 80% of the public. The average cost of a divorce or custody case is between $10,000 and $2,500. There's where I got that statistic. And the average cost of a high conflict divorce is upwards of $78,000. There's the statistic. But most people live paycheck to paycheck. 79% of people have no savings. Even the people who qualify for legal aid only have 20% of their legal needs met, and 80% are unmet. So as a result, most people go it alone. They have to self-represent. The fact that legal representation and legal advice is so unaffordable to the vast majority of people is why I produced the Law Center YouTube channel. At the time of recording, there are 335 videos on my channel, and most of them are directed at helping self-represented litigants in family court. However, the YouTube software is confusing. It's not easy to organize, and a lot of the videos are hard to find that I produced to help people. I want to make the videos more accessible, so I produced the ebook and I produced this training to help you navigate this channel, and I will break it down for you now. This is my YouTube channel, the Law Center. What most people do is go to where it says videos. Then they scroll, but your only option is, if you hit the sort by, the only thing that you get to see, look in the right hand part of your screen, is the best, most popular videos and what's added, the oldest to the newest. But that doesn't give you any sense of category. So you have two options. Playlists, I'm going to click that, and this is what comes up. You can go to created playlists, but they're still not organized yet. You can just see things related to topics. But on my channel, folks, I think I have something like 60 playlists, which is going to take you too long to figure or find what you need. The most important playlist that you want to look at is Family Law Self-Help Playlists, so go straight to that. But better than playlists, what I want you to do is I want you to hit the Home tab. If you are a YouTuber or if you understand YouTube, The problem is most people don't organize like I have, but if you hit that customize channel button, you can index things by category. So you're going to hit home, you're going to go, and this is basically a screenshot, so now I can show you what's on that home tab. At the very top is something YouTube prepares based upon your algorithms, so I want you to skip that because that's not going to help you. The next playlist you will see, you can find videos about what I'm doing with the Family Court Custody Bootcamp, my law firm DeMarco DeMarco, and the Law Center. But I'm now going to scroll down. So these are, you can see at the top, it says about the Law Center. So the next two is, well, this first one, I'm not counting, I think that's 3 down or so, but the Family Law Self-Help. That is most of what you want. Now, you may only see 4 or 5 rows, and each row is a playlist relating to help or an issue, a topic related in family court. But if you hit view all, you won't just see what your phone or your website allows you to see. I said website, I mean your laptop. You're going to get a different view for each, but if you click on view all, they all show up. So make sure you hit view all after you hit Family Law Self-Help. The next row down is family law. So you see I have 2 main ones. One is self-help, which is more practical. Family law is more general things about family court. The next screenshot, moving down the home tab of my YouTube channel, and you have parental alienation, second set. There's also a first set, another playlist, if you see that. It has the same content as the second set. It's in inverse order. This is one of the most content-full playlists. There's 45 videos. Parental alienation, meaning your co-parent is unreasonably turning your child against you. This consists of writings from the scientists who actually draft the theory or do research on the theory. So this is high quality content, directly helpful with practical solutions. I strongly recommend this playlist if you are fighting parental alienation. The next 5 rows of playlists will deal with other areas of law other than family court. I do more than family law, and I just as a footnote want to let you know what I do. Accident, injury, and financial loss, workers' compensation, employment, and disability law, defective products, civil remedies for victims of crime, and personal injury. Just be aware that's there. I am networked with lawyers basically across the country, in every state, practically in every county. In the description portion of each video is a number if you are in an accident or suffer a loss related to work, a victim of crime, or any of those. I just want you to be aware that we do that and we can help you with practically any of your legal needs. The last 2, the Law Center video cast, I interview other people who I believe have great content as well, who also want to help self-represented litigants at a very low cost. Nonprofit executive directors or owners, other professionals who are also trying to help self-represented litigants by giving away great content and great value. And the last playlist is just generally not practical, but related to court and ethics reform and general family advocacy. Going back to the Law Center videocast, I want to highlight 2 very special people who do great work. The first is Lawrence Joss, the founder and director of Parental Alienation Anonymous. We've heard of Alcohol Anonymous. If someone has a drinking problem, they don't necessarily go to a therapist. They go to AA where they can get peer support. What Lawrence Joss is setting up really across the world is what he's trying to do, is support systems for people involved with parental alienation who have trouble connecting with their children because they went through a custody battle. So it's free. There's no cost to the resources that he has, so I want you to be aware of that. And there's another advocate, Rael LaPenta. In Rael's video, she discusses the situation of contempt and enforcing a valid custody order when the co-parent or your ex is unreasonably and deliberately refusing to comply with a custody order and allow shared custody, visitation, or your overnight parenting time. The courts are slow in enforcing this, and she presents an alternative. If you reach out to her, she is also an advocate and is unpaid. And if you watch her video, she gives steps to take to help get the police involved. When I was trying to enforce my custody order, the courts were so slow and the police were completely useless. There's 2 versions of it. If you look very closely, you can see the amount. It's about 28 minutes long is the longer interview with her, but I reduced that to a much shorter version, which looks like 5 minutes or so. My eyes can't see my own screen, but it's a much shorter version. And it gives the steps in an entertaining, animated, and illustrated video. Now I'm going to go through the ebook and let you know what's there and why I put it in the ebook. These are videos that also appear in playlists, but this is why I did the ebook, so you had the most important videos all in one easy to find place. Page 1 with content in the ebook is actually page 3 of the ebook. The first 2 are somewhat of an introduction about me and a cover page. But page 3 must-watch videos for self-representing litigants when your case starts, when you realize you need an attorney. So the top 3 videos. The first one is 5 steps to take before contacting a family law attorney. These 5 steps are about, are you entitled to a free lawyer? What is the best lawyer to get? Where do you look? And what other resources online that you should know before you even start. So that is a short 5-minute video basically explaining what to do before you make that call or before you look for a lawyer, because it gives you advice on how to get the best lawyer. Second one is steps to take before you retain your custody lawyer. Well, as soon as you call a lawyer, your lawyer is starting a clock, because he's getting paid, or he or she is getting paid by the time they spend on you. These are ways for you to prepare, where you can do easy work, or basically it's the instruction that the lawyer is going to tell you to do anyway. What I'm doing is giving you a video of things that you should do before you make that call. So you already do it, and the lawyer doesn't have to tell you to do it, or won't do it him or herself, which will then cost you an hourly rate of $300 and some an hour. Or so. So for you to organize your own file, your own summary, and what that lawyer is going to try and bring out of you, you can do that yourself before you even make that call and save a bundle. The next video relates to different types of lawyers. I want you to be aware that there's something called limited scope lawyers or unbundled services, and it gives you a more detailed explanation in that video. I will touch on this briefly later, but I want to go to the next page of the ebook, is preparing for a custody hearing. You will see clickable links that you can't click on your screen, by the way, but your ebook's links are clickable. So this playlist and this one video, the playlist is a subset of this one long video, which is 55 minutes on your right, how to prepare for a custody hearing. This is what a good lawyer would explain to you before you have to testify or leading up. This is coaching that every good lawyer should give you. Instead of you having to pay a lawyer 1 hour, I have loaded this 55-minute video with content, and you can see on the left side of your screen subcategories of things you should know in after a petition is filed, preparing for whatever litigation is going to occur. This is one of my most watched, strongest comments, favorable comments in a video of any video I've produced. So this page, please bookmark this page. It's got great material for you. Next is a playlist by legal issue. These are 3 of the maybe top playlists that I want to highlight here for you. Child custody, child support. If I do have a divorce one, is very thin because I didn't go through a brutal divorce where I could teach you from learning my experience or my practice. But so I can give you great help about child custody and child support, and there's playlists there. 3 must-watch videos in the parental alienation. As I highlighted to you earlier in this presentation, there's about 45 videos. I would say these are the 3 best. The first 2 was written by Dr. Stephen Miller, a doctor who is explaining the dynamics of parental alienation and some of the worst mistakes professionals make. That's the top one. The second one is why traditional therapy, your basic therapist who is a marriage and family therapist but has had no subspecialty in parental alienation, that if you are ordered for therapy and you are facing what I would call divorce poison, parental alienation, or any contact refusal because of undue influence from your ex, that video is a must watch. Why are traditional therapies worse than worthless? And overcoming parental alienation is a highly watched summary of mainly or some really good tips if you're facing parental alienation. The next video is defending against false allegations of abuse. The top one, Divorce Atomic Bomb, relates to sexual assault. That was written by Dean Tong, an expert, and I also interviewed him, but he's giving tips on do's and don'ts if you're facing sexual assault allegations. The next one are general child abuse allegations. This is written by Dr. Alan Plotke in Tennessee, how you can distinguish lies versus truths. He also discusses timelines, but that really gives good advice if you're facing false allegations. The next video, Alternatives to Litigating in Family Court, relates to if things aren't going well or don't go well, or if you want double security. This discusses other civil claims that you can have outside of family court that can help you protect yourself and your family and your right to see your children. This next playlist, and is also the next page of the ebook, High Conflict Co-Parenting. In your ebook, you can click to get the whole playlist, like every page. But the top 4 videos of this playlist are right here. These 4 videos are taken from a longer 1-hour presentation given by the High Conflict Institute. What I've done is reduced their hour presentation or 75-minute presentation to 4 3-minute videos of the really powerful do's and don'ts, or mainly do's, on how to communicate with an ex that screams, berates, and doesn't have their emotions under control or managed. And each one is a strategy on how to de-escalate and just deal with the facts and communicate without fighting. This next playlist says self-care, mental well-being in family court. This is the next page in the ebook. But please think witness prep, because if you're taking care of yourself and you're in a good state of mind, you're going to show up in court better. The biggest complaint I get from my clients and people that I help at the self-help desk is that they show up in a bad place and make a bad presentation to the judge because they're in a bad place, and therefore they're not as good a witness. These 3 videos are how I got myself out of a bad place. I'm sharing my own story on how I got to becoming a better witness. The first one is how to deal with being that unbearable pain of being out of custody. And one way I connected with my child is I made family videos of his grandparents, me, and communicated with my son through what one expert calls the memorabilia technique, and I break it down in the video. The second one is a Hawaiian method. It's called Ho'oponopono, and it tells a story of a doctor using this method healed a whole wing of a severely mental ill, criminally mental ill wing. It's a moving story, and it's a way to deal with inner stress and pain. The third video is how to forgive your ex for the unforgivable, which that feeling of revenge and that hurt and that aggression that you naturally feel from someone who's trying to hurt you shows up very badly in court, and it's how I dealt with and moved on from severe pain that I had from my custody separation. And I hope in sharing these, it can help you. These methods can help you the way they help me. I don't recommend that self-represented litigants go the entire distance by themselves. You should get some official legal advice from an attorney in your state and county. And here's why. It's the result of a Shriver study. The perception of judges and court clerks, attorneys, and arbitrators. This is a visual representation of the study, but what that they concluded is that a pro se party, a self-represented litigant, it's a fancy way of saying the same thing, is not something that one is. Rather, it's a socially constructed category based on past experiences that causes court personnel to apply thoughts, meanings, labels, and preconceptions about these unrepresented parties. And this involves stereotypes, expectations, and biases, and then treating them differently and devaluating their case. So just an example, just to give some support of this, the study went in depth, and you can find that on the Self-Represented Law Network. If you're really interested, just send me an email and I can give you that study. But be aware that when lawyers and attorneys or court personnel, people who make decisions, are surveyed, they said self-represented litigants rarely or never follow court rules, hand up documents correctly, and have realistic expectations of what's going to happen. And then on the negative side, they usually take more time, look for legal advice from judges or personnel when they shouldn't be doing that, and they need more assistance. And how they measured this is they gave a merit score. They asked judges and lawyers or all these personnel to give merit scores based upon fact patterns that they were given and how the fact patterns were presented, but they separated them from someone who was saying it from his or her own mouth versus someone who had representation or someone to present that information, and they ranked substantially higher when you have a lawyer versus when you don't. So that is why I believe, or I recommend, that people, again, don't pay for traditional representation. It's too expensive. If you're living, 80% of us live paycheck to paycheck and don't have the savings, the $25,000 expenditure, free money to be able to pay for legal services. So the solution is something called limited scope or unbundled legal services. Another way to find that on the internet is flat fee, but it's a breaking down of all the things that a lawyer does into component parts. And my philosophy, or what I'm doing with my YouTube channel, is teaching you how to do some of these on your own. The most important one, in my opinion, is that initial advice to make sure you know what you're seeing your own fact pattern objectively. But the next most important thing is making limited appearances, so you're conveying to the judge, or the judge isn't going to have to speak to you, and you're not going to have to do your own negotiation. In that final hearing, when you're really ironing out that hearing, that another lawyer can speak to you. So the statistics for when you have at least a lawyer to speak for you and some guidance, they're much more likely to settle, 53% versus 40% if you don't have this help. 53% versus 30% if you don't have this help. So it's a lot more likely to settle and end up with more resources, because the court is more confident in the information that they're getting, and they're more likely to award services that are available in the county to people with lawyers versus who don't. So the statistics are broken down here. You're 8 times more likely to settle without even needing a hearing. Again, you're more likely to settle almost twice as likely to settle pre-trial without having to go to a trial. And 34% versus 4% were resolved during that settlement conference. And once they settle, over a 2-year period, they're 3 times more likely not to have to come back. And they also asked in this study why, And it's because the parents are better educated, they have more reasonable expectations, the court process is more efficient because lawyers smooth things and ease tension between the parties. The litigants feel more supported. There's more collaboration because the attorney's like a facilitator because it's an officer of the court. And then the court benefits from the more comprehensive information, so they're giving more accurate guidance in these settlement conferences and the mediation process. A big complaint that I get is that people can't find these lawyers who will do or agree to do this limited scope work. How can you find one? Two ways. There is a national program or private business called unbundledattorney.com. You find them at unbundledattorney.com. So it's a national referral service. They charge the lawyer $75 per lead to represent you, and then the lawyer's on his own. Let me explain that real quick. Unbundledattorney.com is a marketing service that contracts with lawyers. They do the marketing, so you go through their link or their call, or however you get there, and they connect you with the lawyer. The lawyer pays $75 for every lead that the software gives to that lawyer. Whatever you pay the lawyer is just between you and the lawyer. Please don't call Unbundled Attorney until you're ready to retain a lawyer. And they are trained to have this type of price or cost system. Each individual task, there's a training. That lawyer goes through a training because they want you to succeed. They want the lawyers who do this to maximize their cost that they're paying for these leads. So they're training you how they're training the lawyer how to keep the lead and then charge reasonably to help you save money. And this video on their website, if you find it, they're recommending lawyers to join them, and they're training them how to stop this traditional representation high-cost billing and to break it down into these itemized services. So when I was interested in getting into family law, I studied this. I bought a book written by the best of the best limited scope lawyers, Forrest Mostyn, and he taught us lawyers how to do this. And when I read the book, what I learned was that not everyone can do this, which again is why I'm training you guys in the first place, but it gave categories or required skills that people need to have. And my clientele in my local community didn't have these skills, so I knew I could never do this, which is why I don't have an active family law practice. Instead, I train others to be able to take advantage of these limited scope lawyers, so this can then actually change the entire legal system. So here's the elements. Making good decisions, not afraid of learning new skills, reading technical documents effectively, which is why I train people to do that. Help keep documents, or you need the skill of keeping documents organized to be able to handle a case yourself, have the time to do it, being able to use the technology that's available, because to me, technology makes all this possible, have some college education and some legal training, and not mind working with another lawyer. For me to help bring about social change, I realize that people need to have this education, and the time that it's going to take you to learn what you need to know versus the time that you'd have to earn that money to pay the lawyer is so grossly disproportionate that this is such a formula for success or for changing the system or a better way to make it through a very complicated custody situation, which is why I created this YouTube channel. A resource that you can get free help on the internet is lawhelp.org. This is a way to harness whatever online resources there are in your state and in your county. So type in the initials, the abbreviation of your state, and lawhelp.org in your search browser, and it will lead you to what the judges, the state administration wants you to know about how you can get through in your state. So lawhelp.org is one of the most important things that you need to know. You can get a substantial amount of information from that, and the internet hopefully can fill out the rest. Videos are a really easy way to learn. It's the business model of the internet to give away your product for free to pull you in, because the lawyers hope that you will then see how smart they are with the video they produce, hoping that you'll pay them. But I want you to use this, to see this opportunity as a way you can pick a lawyer's brain for free. So you type in your issue and you get free information. So that's one thing. You can get that in video and you can get it in writing. This is basically a every lawyer blog type, just a sample of your basic lawyer blog. But now every website, so that lawyers will find you, they have to give free written advice for the search algorithm for them to come up when you're searching for a lawyer. So lawyers are giving free advice, and of course all these videos and all these blogs are then being loaded in chatbot GPT, so which leads to another thing. You can put questions in chatbot GPT and get some information, but that's for another time. I'm going to make a module on that for you for my online program. Another place of free information is Google Scholar. You no longer have to be a lawyer and subscribe to a paid legal portal or subscription for case law to find out what the law is. It's now available online on Google under Google Scholar for free. There's an enormous amount of information online. But the best resources for self-represented litigants is my online program, the Family Court Custody Bootcamp, which is an online program pre-recorded, me giving you a crash course on handling your case yourself and whatever you can't do dealing with a limited scope lawyer. I want to break down the savings. Lawyers charge $20,000 to $25,000 for your average custody hearing. For a high conflict case, it's more like $77,000. I think I showed you that statistic earlier. But the lawyer actually only puts 15 hours into that, and the paralegal bills, or the paralegal time and tasks presented, will generate the rest of the bill. So the lawyer is figuring $4,500 for his or her time, and the rest is that administrative work. So the theory of the boot camp is, I'm going to teach you to be your paralegal and save that $15,000 and keep that cost under $5,000. The cost of the program is a low $299. I want you to save in your pocket about $4,500. You can get away with less if you have a slightly simpler case. Have more available if your ex keeps bringing you into hearing after hearing after hearing, although you can handle some of those yourself after you take the boot camp. So that's where I get my 20%. You're saving 80% and the cost is only 20%. And how I can keep my costs low is I do not have a one-on-one practice. I am training you to operate yourself and to retain a lawyer for a day for one bite of legal representation, some advice, or hold your hand at that hearing, and you're going to become self-sufficient. Here's the curriculum, the formula, how I do it. Module 1, problems to avoid, all about family court and why we need to do it this way versus the traditional way. Why the traditional way doesn't work and how it happened, and a basically rundown of the problems in family court. Number 2, how to choose that limited scope lawyer. It's an ongoing process where you are preparing, organizing, and participating in your own representation, where you're going to end up saving over $15,000. And I'm itemizing the savings as I go through. Number 3, how to use those blogs and YouTube, how to search and maximize the use of technology, organize your files, and start preparing it for exhibits. Number 4, witness prep. I call it pay attention to self-care or self-care, but really it's witness prep. And the knowledge that I'm giving you is what I learned at a weekend seminar, and of course my other research about the best information of the best presenters, the psychologists and therapists who treat people in family court. Now, module number 5 is a crash course about family law and everything you need to know about the family court case law, which is state specific, but it's the majority jurisdiction across the state, and it's what you would have. I'm putting the savings. I'm giving you the free information in the program, but what you'd have to pay in a community college course is $477. Number 6, module 6 is basically looking at your situation, assessing it, and knowing what petition or what to do moving forward. Number 7, how to maximize lawhelp.org, how to know the rules and the law of your case. Number 8, this is a really meaty, there's several lessons here, but it's preparation and trial. If a lawyer spent an entire morning teaching you or preparing you for trial, this is information he would want to include. But instead of, again, me just explaining what I would explain to every client or what I do for every client before trial and before an arbitration, I am pre-recording and giving to you, and those are the savings that you'd have to pay a private lawyer, because you're not going to need that now. You won't have to pay your lawyer for that. You're getting it in this program. Number 9, how to handle a high conflict custody dispute. This is the long version, or a much more in-depth version of what you're getting in those free 4-video playlists that I showed you earlier. But this is the long version of what the High Conflict Institute teaches at a longer 75-minute webinar or seminar. Number 10, how to handle parental alienation. Number 11, dealing with out of custody. A lot of people who come to me on self-help desks and are looking for free advice are alienated parents, and part of being an alienated parent is the time that you spend away from your child. Number 12, how to handle judicial bias. This is when you think that you don't have a fair shake, where you have a judge who you can't get a break with. These are how to handle that situation. It's a whole module on that. Custody litigation tips I break down into 4: preparing for guardians ad litem, negotiation, defending against protection from abuse petitions, mediation. Number 14, these are tips that I got from, again, the best therapists on how to reach out to the adult alienated child. And 15, a bonus module, entering a new long-term commitment. I and my wife are pre-CANA teachers. We give marriage prep courses. It's very difficult for people who have been divorced or separated after having a child to maintain a new long-term relationship. I have this module is a compilation of the best training relationship courses that are available on the market. I've researched them and I've combined and condensed them into maybe a 15-20 minute module, giving you the best resources that are available in books and online, and discussing the nuggets of wisdom. You should receive an email within 1 hour of starting this seminar for a flash sale of $50 off, taking the normal cost of $299 down to $249. If you have any questions about whether this online program is for you, you can submit your questions to glawrencedemarco@gmail.com. You can also go to the playlist in that top row about the Law Center and the Family Court Bootcamp, and you'll see a playlist. One, you'll see the video for the entire program, but you'll also see a playlist of people who've taken the program and give testimonials about what they think and how what a tremendous value this program was for them and will be for you. So what are you waiting for? This is a transformative program revolutionizing the way self-represented litigants handle themselves in custody court, empowered with the knowledge, confidence, and skill to participate in their own representation, and thereby saving up to 80% of traditional legal representation. Sign up today, and I hope to see you in the private Facebook group available to all participants in the program. And don't forget to email me with any questions. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.